Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 295 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news, culture, and gaming podcast for Words About Games. I am your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Daffy Moody. I tried to think of something clever, and it just didn't work. It's a good sign, isn't it? I was like,
You said your cleverness right at the beginning because that was a bitch in the opening. It was a very bitching opening. I won't lie, Amy. That was awesome.
I can't take the credit for it. It wasn't my idea, but I'm going to use it. It's good.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, welcome. It's Monday. You know what that means. Because I know what it means. AEW Revolution tomorrow when I wake up, because I'm not staying up for that fucker. I am not as young as I used to be. And everything, I'm like, no, I ain't staying up. But it's like, Amy, there's 12 matches. 12 effing matches. I'm like, oh, God, this is going to be fucking 5 hours long, isn't it?
Nice.
As long as it's entertaining, that's all I care.
Hell yeah. That's what it's all about.
There's a ladder match, Amy. It's got big, beefy sirloin steaks in it, and it's just like, oh God, those ladders are not gonna come out alive.
I was gonna say, when you say it's a ladder match, do you mean it's got actual ladders in it?
Yes. They have to climb the ladder to get to the ring, briefcase, whatever the hell they're gonna have on top of the thing to win, basically.
All right.
And it's like there's three big muscly beef steak sandwiches in it, and you're just like, oh God. And then you got 3 skinny men, you're just like, oh God, they are going to die.
Well, there's an argument to be made about speed. Dex build versus a strength build.
Oh God, let's see. It's looking awesome. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be awesome. But
That's awesome. That's cool. I love that. We love to hear it. I'm confused by the days. We didn't do Among Us yesterday or anything yesterday.
We haven't done it for the last 2 weeks, Amy.
Well,
2 weeks.
All right. So the first week it wasn't a big deal because I was busy. So I was mentally prepared to not be doing it. But this weekend I wasn't mentally prepared to not be doing anything. So I've just been all afternoon, I've been having to remind myself it's Sunday. Do a podcast. It's Sunday. You're doing a podcast. It's Sunday. You're doing a podcast.
And you just hear from off the screen, Elden Ring screaming, shouting you, Amy.
It's not doing that. It's just screaming in general.
Amy!
The screams.
Sorry, audio listeners.
I put the tweet out last night where it's like, I've finally gotten to Caelid, and then I put the gif of the guy he was just like, Mom, can you come and pick me up? I'm really scared.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I was like, fucking Jesus. I'm not gonna spoil what Caelid is of the stuff in it, but fucking hell, it's rough.
I've seen a friend tweeted out boyfriend who works in the gaming industry, does a 9-to-5 job and everything like that. He's already platinum the bugger.
What the fuck?
That's what I said when I saw that. I was like, what?
Jesus
so
Christ.
Basically, he did his job, got home, ignored you, and he was just in his corner playing Elden Ring.
I've got stuck at least twice. It's funny though.
Wow.
I've done the thing again though with Elden Ring, where it's I've used my influencer powers, which I don't think I have. People always tell me oh, I've done this because you said, or I've got this game because you, and I'm just how? I can barely influence myself to get out of bed in the morning. How did I influence you to buy a whole ass video game? But Elfie's really into it, and she's blaming me for it, and it's all she talks about. When I see her, and it's really frustrating because she's so far behind me at this point, and I'm just yeah. She'll say something, I'll be yeah. No, I have no comment because things happen later on. There's another guy I've convinced to buy it. Ruthless is apparently buying it. there's people they're like, I was talking to someone else about it, and he was like, yeah, it's not my type of game, and like, but we were talking about it, and then I've seen him today, and he's gone, yeah, I was looking it up on on the store to see how much it was last night. I was just like, Jesus Christ, how many dominoes have I knocked over?
Are you just waiting for one of them to say, why did you convince me to buy this?
Well, no. So here's what I'm very clever about this. I never actually recommend the game to anybody. Like when Ruthless in Twitch chat, she's one of our regulars on Twitch. When she said, "Oh man, like you're playing this game," it's tightening the screw on my microphone. You're playing this game. It looks amazing. Like, oh, when you're convincing me to get it, and I went, whoa, hold on, because I've been in this situation before. And I was like, this game is extremely challenging. Like, it's basically Dark Souls 4 and 5 and 6. So like, I always pump the brakes, and it still gets people to buy it. Like, I remember I did the Neo review with Keith on a podcast once, and he went out and bought the fucking game because I gave it a 10 out of 10 because we still did review scores back then. And then he came back, he said he bought it, and I went, really interesting. And then he came back to me and was like, yeah, it's not for me, it's basically like a Dark Souls type game. And I went, yeah, I know, I said that like 10 times. It's like, were you not paying attention to the words I was saying?
He had 10 out of 10 at the end.
He just had 10 out of 10. And I went, yeah, cool. That was the game. Really good. That was the game he bought. He bought his PlayStation 4 because he was buying Persona 5 later that year. So he needed a PS4 for it. And literally, that was the game he got with the PS4 instead of Horizon. Yeah. And I was like, why? No, God, why? He's going to blame me for this. Why? He's going to blame me for this.
The thing is, like obviously, like we game shared. I feel like so we own Elden Ring everything together. So I'm just like, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to be like when it comes to that game. Like I said, I'm waiting until I finish college for it because that's when I'm going to give it its proper time. Because I don't think I'll give it its proper time by myself right now. Like when it comes to other games right now, I can just pop in and out and I'm not that bothered.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what I'm expecting when it comes to this game.
I'm fascinated. I'm going to be honest.
I am fascinated. I won't lie. I don't know if it's going to be just like I play, say 5 hours, and by the end of it, I'm just like, I'm out.
Done with that.
But I won't be bothered though. At the same time, I don't get upset if I don't enjoy something because it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, do I wish it had all the things from that video that we watched from Steven Taylor? Had all those things, yes, and it probably would make my experience and everyone else's experience, other people, thousands of more people's experience a lot more easier. But yeah.
Yeah, like,
that's a discussion for some other time.
That's a discussion for a video about those things. I'm obviously having a great time, but like, it sucks that someone like Steve Saylor can't enjoy the game the way I'm enjoying the game. Like, yeah. Or anyone. Like I wish more people could enjoy Elden Ring, the way that I enjoy it. But sadly, because of game design decisions, it's not really possible. But hey, I mean, you never know. Like, you might fucking fall in love with Elden Ring. It's possible.
That is possible.
Elfie did. I really didn't think she was going to like it.
I am so surprised by that. I really am. Like, that's like, I know you've known her longer than I have and everything, but she just doesn't come across as that would be a game for her.
No.
It screams anti-elf.
Yeah, it's like the opposite.
It's like absorbing it, and she's just like, she had the choice of the red or blue pill. And she keeps going back.
She's still playing it. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
respect her. Respect. I'm glad that she's enjoying it. That's what you want to hear. So
yeah. She beat the first main boss you come across, and still loving it. Like, you know, the one that I glitched on stream by accident.
Yes. That was not your fault either.
That wasn't my fault. I didn't do it on purpose. I was like, oops, I pushed the wrong button. What's happening?
Clip for next month.
It is. Good game. It's all right, I guess.
How you can literally title it "How to Piss Off Elden Ring Fans." First boss, Easy peasy,
First boss,
motherfuckers.
easiest boss I've ever fought in a Souls in a From Software game. I'm not gonna lie, like everyone's talking about how hard this boss is, and I'm just like, I don't know, like did it pretty easily. Didn't even have to move. Fourth boss. Oh my god, I wasn't streaming that though. But my word, I got stuck. I had to go away and get new gear and come back. And there's been some moments of rage for me. I'm not gonna lie, but
I can believe it.
I just batter my way past them. It's fine. It's been very weird. It's been very weird playing like a completely different way than I normally play these games as well. Because I made the conscious decision to be a spellcaster, which I've never done before.
I was fascinated by that when you picked that. I was thinking didn't expect that.
No, it's like, well, I played Demon Souls and it was like a two-handed sword. I took that shield immunity that I got at the start, and I went, fucking do need this, like, and I just threw it on the floor, put both hands on a sword, and just went for it. And then like I played Bloodborne, which doesn't give you shields, gives you a gun. And then I played Dark Souls 3 with two swords rolling around everywhere, and I was just like, you know what, I've done this for like 3 games now.
Yeah.
Let's mix things up. Let's try it out a bit. And if I don't like it, there's a class right there with 2 swords. Just go and do that. And it's like, no, I'm really digging it. It's very different. Like, it's very different to like fight the instinct of like 120 hours of From Software games of like, be right, gotta get in close, stay at the feet, dodge and move, to stay back. Oh shit, I've got no health and no armor. Get away from me.
Not like this. It's
interesting though. I did get a magic spell that's like a magic sword. So, you know, like if shit really hits the fan, I can reactivate the instincts. Just going shwa, shwa, shwa. But this isn't an Elden Ring review, Moody. Not yet.
It is not. Not yet. One day.
40 hours in, and I don't even think I'm halfway through the game yet.
Fucking hell.
I know, fucking Jesus, right. To put that in context.
That's 40 hours in. That means you could still technically review it and just say,
definitely. Definitely, but I'm not going to. To put 40 hours in and not even halfway through in context, like I beat Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls in less than that. Like my first playthroughs of all of those games were less than 30 hours. Or around 30 hours. So this is going to be like... That's why I made the joke before. I was like, it's basically Dark Souls 4 and 5 and 6. There's multiple games worth of Dark Souls here. We need to, at some point, we need to sit down and have a discussion about like open worlds and what makes them actually fun, because I've fucking hated most open worlds I've explored in the past 5 years. In Elden Ring, I'm just like, oh, a cave. What's in here?
And the thing is, you've got 3 big-ish games still waiting in the background for you.
Don't remind me.
And with whatever amount of indie games that are in there as well.
On top don't remember about that. Like, so I got Octopath Traveler. Like, I'm hoping to like semi-clear the deck by the time Kirby comes out, because that's another game I'm really excited to play.
So that's 2 weeks then.
Yeah. Don't worry, I've got a plan. It's gonna be fine. But like
20 or 19 days of recording.
Yeah, it's fine. But like, what I'm worried about is I've played Elden Ring, and it's like a transformative open world experience. And I'm kind of worried it's going to have ruined Horizon for me. like Elden Ring has taken the bar and like put it so high, and then I'm going to pop Horizon into my PlayStation, and I'm just going to be like, I mean, it's all right, but it's no Elden Ring.
You should have played Horizon first.
I didn't have time.
You could have made time.
The worst part is, so it's not just like Elden Ring might have immediately ruined like Horizon for me a bit. It's like
Elden Ring might have just ruined the rest of the year for you.
Elden Ring might have just ruined my life.
Which is, how do I say this?
I
A
don't
good
know.
thing and not a good thing. Because at the end of the day, you're having an amazing experience with this game. That is what we want to hear and everything. We don't want to be hearing like you going, "Oh, I don't know why people are enjoying this game, really. Sucks."
Yeah, right. This isn't another Breath of the Wild where I'm like, I mean, it's okay, but I don't know why everybody's losing their mind over it. I mean, I did know why everybody was losing their mind over it. It's just the things in that game that annoyed me. But like, Elden Ring has just been like, no, man, like I get it. 97 on Metacritic should have been 100.
That's 96, isn't it?
On OpenCritic. I was saying Meta. It's a 97 on Meta. Don't know why it's different. It just is. Go figure.
Go figure.
But we don't like Metacritic here. We use OpenCritic, which you'll find out about at the end of the podcast, because this is the Words About Games podcast. You can get we come at you every Monday with all the cool shit like Elden Ring. I think there's other things we're going to be talking about. In fact, we're probably just going to continue this discussion in like 5 minutes. Looking at the show notes, but whatever. You can get the video podcast on youtube.com/wordsaboutgamesuk or the audio version on a variety of platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. There's timestamps in the description wherever you choose to get your podcasts, so you can skip around, look, see what we've talked about, see if there's anything that strikes your fancy you might want to hear us talk about. You can watch the whole podcast backwards. We don't mind. We're just happy that you're here. Lastly, if you want to hang out with us while we play some games, you can head over to twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames and watch us play games and hang out and chill and chat. It's a cozy stream. We've set up a nice little cozy vibe between the two of us, punctuated by brief moments of murder and destruction and mayhem. Like
normally on a Saturday, yeah.
Oh, normally only on a Saturday night when I threaten Rooney so in depth he checks to make sure his windows and doors are locked.
I make sure those locked before I freaking start playing.
That's fair. That's fair. After my outburst that one time, that's totally fair, and I totally get it, and I support you in that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Even I was like, "Oh shit."
I crossed the line.
Where did
Am I the bad guy?
where did that come from? Should we jump into it?
Go for it.
I've got this label as news part 1, but if anybody watched last week's podcast, you know this isn't news part 1. You'll also know that Joe Medforce isn't here. Sadly, couldn't be with us today, but we'll soldier on without him. Shout out to Joe Medforce. He's a pretty cool guy. And by pretty cool, I mean like he's one of my favorite people. But
Twitch the Lion King.
Twitch.tv/Joe Medforce. Go
Twitch.
Go follow him. He's great. He was playing the Kirby demo a couple of days ago.
Yeah. I'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, if anybody listened to last week's podcast, right when Amy's bladder was about to explode out of her body, we started a discussion about all of the games that might be coming out in 2022 and having the sudden realization that 2022 might be pretty okay for video games and only video games. It was spurred on by the news that there might be a mainline Fire Emblem coming out later this year. So I have.
With that, there's another mainline Pokemon game later on this year as well. It's just like, holy mother of God.
Yeah, so the discussion for probably the first half of the podcast, as we talked about last week, is 2022 going to be the best year for video games? And then all I had to write was discuss.
This is the thing about we've stated on many occasions, unlike the rest of the people we've listened to or whatever. 2021 for video games was a great year for video games. We had so many amazing games. I won't lie to all those people out there. Maybe if you don't play just the AAA games, you might find other better games out there. I'm not gonna lie. But hell, I digress.
Let's talk about us. Let's talk about
Amy Disc is absolutely bonkers. So I'm guessing, have you got a list up?
Oh no, I don't need one.
So, I needed one just for a reminder.
Well, that's fair.
Like that on my hand and everything. So from the first 3 months alone, from the big games and everything like that. And I'm just gonna go to big games right now. Pokemon Legends Arceus, very highly rated and overall well received. Horizon Forbidden West, overall highly rated, very well received. Elden Ring, apparently the pile of shite. We talked about it. You said it was shite, apparently, but yeah, no, it's very well, overwhelmingly very well received. Arguably,
my Twitter feed has been 9 days of Elden Ring.
Mine has been 9 days of Pokemon.
Like
since Gen 9, it was revealed.
I mean, in terms of video games, anyway, it's been just everybody's fucking playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's been like crazy. That's just from the first 3 freaking months. To think what we could technically get later on is insane. Potentially God of War Ragnarok. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the freaking Wild 2.
If just
those two alone.
Just those two and Elden Ring all come out in the same calendar year, like the Game Awards is going to be a bloodbath. Game journalists are going to be fighting each other in the aisles.
Splatoon 3, which we know is coming. Starfield, which to this day, till right now, does have a release date. It's in November.
Yeah.
I'm going through like
Starfield.
Everything.
I blow past, like in my own head, I blow past Starfield because I'm not really the biggest sort of Bethesda RPG game fan.
Yeah.
So in my own head, I kind of go like Starfield. Yeah, Starfield's coming out, but like no, let's stop for a second and remember that Starfield is the next game from the people that made Skyrim. The game's so popular they've re-released it 65,000 times. Like
that, and that's just what we know of.
Yeah. It's on the fucking Alexa, for God's sake.
Let's throw a ball out. This game I'm about to say might be the only game I think that could beat Elden Ring for you. Hollow Knight Silk Song.
I know. Don't remind me. What the fuck?
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel.
The worst part is I'm sitting here right now. You said Hollow Knight and Star Wars. I loved Fallen Order.
Yeah.
And you said both of those games, and I'm going, what the fuck? And I'm like, I know you're not even like a third through this list that you've got. Like, I know.
Bayonetta 3. Sex on Boots 3. What I named it.
Fucking Christ.
Final Fantasy 16. Hear me.
You're not finished.
We've got Forspoken coming out shortly.
Oh,
which
it's in like May, isn't it?
Saints Row.
The fuck?
Oh my god. Avatar, Frontier of Pandora. Oh, hear me. I think we might need to take a time out. Gotham Knights. Freaking hell, I'm just going through a list here.
Like I think I know this intelligently, like, you know, like in my head, I've always known this is what 2022 is, but no one's ever said it like this to me before.
But then I'll say these ones again, like which there's going to be more for me more than Nick, but Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet.
Let's not blow past it. Like 2 Pokemon games in 1 year.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
not spin-offs. Like, I know Arceus is technically a spin-off, but it might as well just be... Arceus is to Pokemon what Elden Ring is to Dark Souls. It's the open-world version of the Pokemon game.
And what I'm hearing from Violet and Scarlet, that's an open-world Pokemon game. They've come out and said it. There's like an article they released saying this is an open world Pokemon game. Amy, I think we're screwed. If these, but that Castillo Protocol, Castillo Protocol,
What's his name? Glenn Schofield's game.
the Dead Space remake.
I
don't think they're coming this year. I don't think either of those are coming out this year. But
I want both of those games to come out within like the same week.
Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
Oh yeah, Gollum game.
I'm pretty sure we've heard Suicide Squad. That's next year.
Yeah, that's next year.
So that's all right. Get out of here, Suicide Squad.
Shoo. Nobody even knows what you are. Go away.
Yeah. Like, and we don't really know what Capcom's doing that much. Like, we know they've announced Street Fighter and everything, but that's primarily, we believe that's next year. What are they doing? They'll have something to drop. What, a new Resident Evil, or?
Well, they did say for a while like they wanted a new Resident Evil every year.
Yeah.
Like that was their deal, right? That was why I was like sitting at the end of last year going, "Where's Resident Evil? Where's Resident Evil?"
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Chill, Amy, you just got Village," and yes, Village was great, and I really appreciated that game. That game aged like a fine wine. Like
It really did, yeah.
my appreciation for that game, but at the same time, I was just going off of what they said. So I was like, "Where's next year's Resident Evil?"
Yeah.
Is there going to be a Resident Evil this year? Who fucking knows? I don't know, but there might be. Like, this is the thing I always say in the first few months of a year. Like, when we sit here and we go, look at all these games that we know about that are coming out. It's like, there's always the things you don't know about yet. There's always the things that haven't been announced that get announced and they're coming out at the end of the year. That happens every year. So add on the pile of the things that you've just said and the things that I'm looking at, because I got like, I am gonna start throwing games on this pile in a second. But like, think about all that plus the unknowns.
We are into the unknown.
But let's talk about the dawns for a second. Like, I'm scrolling through the list and like, I'm going in like with everything at this point. Like, you've mentioned the big games.
Yeah, that's just the big games, I would say, yeah.
The big games alone are like, holy mother of God, this is all happening in the same like calendar year.
Potentially, yeah, all this year.
Like, even if you account for like God of War, like probably not coming out in 2022, I don't think. Like, Forspoken might be getting delayed. But whether it's supposed to be coming out in May, so even if it gets delayed, it could still be this year. Like, there's still a lot.
Yeah, my thing is that will PlayStation? They've done it for many years, this and everything like that. But will PlayStation not have a big game at the end of the year?
Maybe, maybe not. Like I said, like there's plenty of time. Like, PlayStation could arguably say call Final Fantasy 16 their big game at the end of the year.
That's the thing. If that is exclusive to them, so yeah, I forgot about that. So thank you. So yeah, they're gonna have something, and Final Fantasy is probably gonna be what it is.
Final Fantasy 16, and hey, you know what? If God of War Ragnarok does come out at the end of 2022, then they're gonna have God of War and Final Fantasy at the end of the year, and that's a month of Amy's life.
Not me. You're being there. Don't. Oh God. So how many holidays you got left?
Oh, I haven't booked any yet. I'm thinking
you
about.
might need to take a month off.
I'm thinking about just not doing E3 this year, just so I can use the time off later to play video games.
That'd be a good idea.
When fucking God of War, Starfield, and fucking Final Fantasy all come out within like a week or two of each other, and I'm just like staring down the barrel of an apocalypse, another one. Like, Jesus, titty fucking Christ, Moody.
Jesus, you fucking Christ, indeed. There's no doubt about it.
It's like the games that you've just listed there are easily like that's like 3 years, 2 years, 3 years worth of like big earth-shattering game releases. Like even setting aside every other game, the idea that Elden Ring and the Breath of the Wild sequel could come out in the same year is it's wild enough to think about. Like Elden Ring was definitely heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild's design. And like I said to you last week off podcast, because I looked for this in the podcast, the line that I said to you, and I realized I said it after we stopped recording. Like, there's a chance there's a game coming out in 2022 that I'm gonna like more than Elden Ring. Like, there's a chance there's multiple games coming out in 2022 that I like more than Elden Ring. But here's some more games for the bonfire. Decided to call it a bonfire. Tunic's coming out in a week.
Soon.
In like 1 week, Tunic is coming out. There's one. Kirby's coming out at the end of the month.
Final Fantasy Origin.
Final Fantasy Origin is coming out this month.
Tokyo.
We haven't even left March yet, people. Ghostwire Tokyo comes out.
That's March as well. Oh,
yep.
Fuck, that's March.
That's March. There's a couple of... obviously, we got Kirby. I mentioned at the start of the podcast that we got Kirby. And I don't want to just blow past that.
Yeah. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
The last 3 games we've mentioned all come out on the same day. There's a couple of games here that I'm really looking forward to. There's a Memoir Blue, which is an Annapurna interactive game. And then there's Weird West, which got delayed from last year, which is an immersive sim by it's an indie studio formed by the people who created Dishonored. It's one of Amy's keywords search terms. Is this game like Dishonored? Yes. Oh shit. How do I play it? Look at you, Amy. It's on Game Pass when it comes out.
Nice.
Lego
Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Yep.
Oxenfree 2.
Oxenfree. 2 Point Campus comes out in May. Salt and Sacrifice looks interesting as well.
Yeah, so someone picked that up in our fantasy group, Russell.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about it. We'll have time to talk about that later. Someone who tried to pick up. I have to have a. We have to have. I know he's probably not listening to this, but if somebody who can message him is listening to this, tell him to check the Fantasy Critic check-in part of this podcast out because we need to have a conversation about something else that happened in Fantasy Critic. But yeah, Salt and Sacrifice looks interesting. 2 Point Campus it's going to be a great game. Like, you're reaching a point in 2022 where if everything happens that we think is going to happen, like, great games are going to get lost in the conversation of, like, the amazing games that come out. Mario Strikers. It's not going to be a big game, I don't think, but I think we're going to have fun with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Live Alive, that old JRPG that never released in the West that they announced at the Direct a few weeks ago, is something I'm looking forward to. I just really like the 2D HD games.
Yeah.
Scrolling down.
Redfall.
Redfall.
That's something I had no interest in it. The trailer, I was just like, nah.
I'm gonna be honest, it's
vampire
not
bath for blood. I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
I'm gonna be honest, like the game alone and everything I've seen so far for it isn't what has me excited. It's the fact that, again, keyword search Dishonored. It's made by the studio that made Dishonored, so I'm interested. Like just from that pedigree. Moving into the to be announced category. Where we really start hitting some games. We got Plague Tale Requiem right off the bat in 2022.
Homeworld 3.
Atomic Heart. Been looking forward to that game for a while. Is it going to be good? Don't know. Looks interesting.
Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I guess we're just taking. I didn't know if we were just doing a back and forth thing there.
It seemed like it's how it's going.
Yeah. Afterlove EP. I'm really looking forward to that.
Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Coffee Talk too. Like, give me some more Coffee Talk. I'll have some more of that.
Sonic.
Oh my god. Sonic. Breath of the Sonic. I forgot about that game. This fucking Sonic game coming out and I forgot about it because of like how wild this year is. Goodbye, Volcano High.
Yeah. Oh, good God.
I feel like someone's got to fill in the sound there because otherwise everybody who's listening on Spotify just went, what happened to the podcast?
Nothing. It's all good. We're good.
We're still here.
Yeah, Battle Slug Tactics. think that's going to be a really good game, that one.
Little Devil Inside.
Yeah.
Loot River. Minico's Night Market. I can just keep going.
Yeah, we really can, yeah.
Neon White, the game we played on stream like a week ago on that demo. That was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
I had a lot of fun with that.
You looked like you did, there's no doubt about it. You looked like you did indeed.
Game is definitely the most.
The Star Trek game?
Oh,
Resurgence?
yeah. It's that Star Trek game. That's
yeah.
What else we got? We got Planet of Lada, which looks cool as fuck. That game's going to be one of those, oh my god, it's amazing. Like, I never saw this coming, and we'll be sitting here going, we did.
We did.
We saw it coming.
We may have forgotten about it, though. What we did. Because it's so funny.
Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars.
Oh, shit, yes. Yes, I forgot about that one.
It's gonna be one of those years where it's like,
Planet
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Planet Lana.
I just said that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sorry. My brain.
My brain, it's imploding under all of these video games.
Stray.
Cat with a backpack with rockets.
Yeah, I believe so.
Sniper Elite 5.
Oh, God. Moss
Book
2.
Nice one. Suicide Squad, no. Alright, here's one I'm going to throw at you, Mooney. I'm going to throw this one at your face. Right at your face. Because this is a distinct...
I like it in the face.
This is a distinct possibility. And I know you like it in the face. That's why I'm aiming for it. Phasmophobia 1.0. They're targeting the end of the year.
God.
Right?
Oh no.
Don't make me choose between Phasmophobia and Elden Ring for Game of the Year. Please. Phasmophobia. So Among Us is now my #1 most played game on Steam. By the way. But Phasmophobia is like my 4th or 5th most played game on Steam ever.
Is it?
Yeah. And it's not even out yet. Thymesia, which is that it's that game that was supposed to come out at the end of last year that looked very Bloodborne-y.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's one.
Wizard with a gun.
Still argue that is one of the greatest titles for a game ever. Here's one where I'm going to say the name of it and you're going to go, oh yeah, that game. Trek to Yomi.
That game. Yeah. Cult of Lamb.
We Are OFK was another one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like at this point, this podcast has just become an extended list. And I think we've hit most of the things that we know about that are coming out in 2022.
This is just because we believe it might be coming out this year, but because the show's been pushed till next year, I'm thinking it might be next year now. But The Last of Us remake.
Oh yeah, The Last of Us remake.
Yeah.
You think I would remember that?
And also, I think we forgot my most anticipated game, Replaced.
Replaced.
Have we said Somerville?
No, we didn't say that one either. Because of you, because of you specifically, those two games are linked in my head. Where if you say one, I remember both.
I think this one is going to be a shout as well. Shovel Knight Dig.
Shovel Knight Dig. Shovel Knight Dig. Like,
Amy,
we spent the last 10 minutes just saying game names.
we might need to cancel the podcast.
We might need to cancel the YouTube channel.
Yeah. We may not have time to do content.
It's like there's so many games coming out. We just didn't have time to do the content around the games because we were too busy playing the games. Like every time we finished one game, there was like 10 more waiting to be played.
And these are games that we know of, that we believe are coming this year.
Yep.
Oh, and then we've still got to think, what is it that we don't know?
There's a studio, I said this last week, there's a studio, the studio that made Super Mario Odyssey hasn't fucking released anything for nearly 5 years.
Still think that's next year.
Like, irregardless, that just makes the direct this gonna be spicy sometime this year. Like, there's studios out there that haven't released or like talked about what they're making for a while. Like, if we move on from sort of like, hey, these are games that we're expecting to come out in 2022, and we know there's going to be surprises, but let's move on to talk about other things that could be getting bigger reveals throughout the year. Like we talked about the direct a bit last week. We talked about like the studio that made Super Mario Odyssey that's got to be making something. Like Metroid Prime 4's restarted development has lasted 3 years. At this point, like they're gonna show that eventually. Like we got that coming. Like let's just jump over to Microsoft, who showed a bunch of games off last year with like very small teasers because they're obviously all still in development. Some of those games might be ready for the big show.
Yeah, Avowed.
We've heard credible rumors that they're targeting early 2023 with Avowed. So
Hellblade
2, Perfect Dark, Fable,
Forza
Motorsports,
yeah.
9,
whatever number
it is.
It's a Forza game.
More single player Halo content. Like whatever's next for Halo.
And then with whatever PlayStation have got in the wings as well, they'll have something to show that we don't know yet.
Oh yeah. Whatever Uncharted team is working on.
Whatever's Uncharted's doing. Like a lot of the teams now have like split off into like 2 teams, haven't they, in the PlayStation sector?
Yeah, because I think they want to
Naughty
make.
Dogs have got 2 teams. Santa Monica have got 2 teams. Sucker Punch, I believe, got 2 teams now.
Yeah, Microsoft has done this with most of its studios as well.
What's the next comic book thing that Insomniac are doing? They're doing Spider-Man.
Well, that's the thing.
Wolverine.
We're going to see more Spider-Man 2. We're probably. I mean, I got the feeling Spider-Man 2 is before Wolverine.
Yeah, you gotta think that.
Like
I won't lie though, it's really tricky because like I was like when you told us that when I saw the show notes, I was thinking, I have this feeling, and it's gonna be bonkers if it does come this year, that God of War is this year, because like I remember when they had that big reveal for God of War Ragnarok, and by the end of it, everyone was like, "Oh, great!" But then you had those naysayers and, "Oh, they're reusing assets and I was thinking, yeah, that's how they get the game out faster, guys.
That's how game development works. Like
they would have only had to remake new things that would have not have had to take as much time compared to what reusing the assets. So
Why wouldn't you reuse the things you've already made? Like, it just makes sense.
Hell yeah, I know. Yeah. There's a reason why Cyberpunk took what 9 years
Yeah,
to come out.
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like as I remember someone was talking about Elden Ring saying they've reused Dark Souls 3 assets. It's like, of course they fucking did. That's how game dev works. Like, and I sit here as someone who never like says I know how game development works, but I know enough
Yeah. Yeah.
to know that. But
Guys, how do you think FIFA gets out every year?
Call of Duty, like, is a yearly franchise
Yeah.
for a reason. There's a reason that when Assassin's Creed first went to yearly releases, there were 3 games with the same character. Because they could use the same assets to tell the story over 3 games. And then after that was when the game started falling apart. So I'll ask you the question again. Is 2022 going to be the best year for video games? Because that was the question that sparked it, wasn't it, last week, where I said, when we get to January 2023 and we're sitting down to do our game of the year, and Amy's having a stroke trying to fit 20 games into the list, like, how, like, are we going to sit back and go, that was the best year for video games we've ever had?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Feels like it.
Like, if you go off all the games that we've just mentioned that are targeting at this moment in time, 2022, holy sweet cheese and crackers, my God.
Sweet cheese and crackers.
If you know that reference from that film, you're awesome. I have to say that, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, holy mother of God.
Like, I'd say if even half of those games come out.
Yeah.
That we've mentioned, which is about, I'd say that's about average, right? Like the rate of games that come out versus the rate of games that are delayed in any given year. It's probably about 50-50.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So if anyone out there is listening to this podcast or watching this podcast and wants to support us with monetarily,
we're gonna need it.
You can head to our coffee website. I might start pushing the old coffee page a bit more, just to be like, please help us. We're dying out here.
Good God. You want to feel a little more, or you want to feel a little old, Amy?
I mean,
it came out 10 years.
10 years ago. I know. Yeah, doesn't make me feel old. Like,
it makes me go, wow.
It makes you go, damn. That was a fun period of time in my life.
Yeah, I had an awesome time with it, so I can't comment on it. I have no problem with it, man.
I'm thinking about that actual time period in my life. It was a very unusual time.
I can believe that. For you.
Well,
holy mother of God.
Yeah, so I do think we'll be sitting back in these chairs in January, being all like, what the fuck just happened? Like, we'll be sitting in our Game of the Year podcast just being like, what the fuck was that? I feel like I've just been hit by a tornado.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Like we're gonna have, like, if anybody out there's listening to this and it's like, oh, like, there's games coming. There's lots of games coming. Hold on tight. We're gonna try and talk about as many of them as we can.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, hold on to your butts, because it's coming. It's coming fast now. It's like,
what is the thing? Like, we've been like saying, oh God, there's so many just now.
Yeah,
we just read off potentially 50 games that could arguably be amazing at the end of the year.
Yep. That's most of the games I'm going to play Like, you know what I mean? Like in terms of number. Like I put out that tweet, which I know you saw, which was just like I'm playing Elden Ring, and I want to finish it, and I've got Octopath Traveler in my Switch. Help! Please stop releasing games. Please, please stop. And they're not stopping. No one listened to me, unfortunately. So they're gonna keep releasing games. Um, like that's like the next two or 3 weeks of my life, like in terms of like playing game time. So then like I'm getting to the end of March. Kirby's here and I really want to play that, but also like I've now got a pile of about 10 games that came out between Elden Ring, so let's say between Horizon coming out and like let's say Kirby. I've got like 10 more games behind me, like where it's like there's this big pile of games and it's just getting bigger. Like I'm just like kind of looking at it like like the thing and with Moss and the IT crowd where he's just sitting there typing and he keeps looking at that fire, just like like just nervously like how many of the games that do I have on my backlog pile now because I'm playing two like 50 plus hour experiences am I just never gonna play? Am I even gonna play Horizon? Like am I even gonna be able to get back to playing Horizon?
I don't think you're going to touch Horizon.
I want to.
I don't think I think Elden Ring's broke you. I think right now Horizon needs to be pushed for you for at least 3 months. But by that time, there could be so much out that you're going to be like, I can't even get to it now.
Yeah, it's like I could play Horizon, which is going to take me like 30 hours. But that's these 6 indie games. Like, you know what I mean? Like I could play these 6 indie games instead. Oh, like, and that's like it's a really interesting sort of juggling thing when you like when you're into video games and there's just so much coming out. It's not like being into movies, right? Where it's like a movie can last up to like say three hours, right? Like 3.5 hours maximum, and then that's it.
Yeah.
The movie is done.
Yeah.
3.5 hours is considered extremely short for a video game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just like this hobby is wild.
As long as fuck.
Yeah, it takes up your time, especially when you decide to like then make videos and stuff, because then you've got to add on all that time on at the end of every game. What do you think your game of the year is going to be? Like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out random questions now. What do you think, like, of everything we talked about a lot, what do you think your game of the year might be?
I honestly don't know, because if it comes out, potentially God of War, because I loved the last God of War. I thought that was a masterpiece in gameplay and in storytelling and everything when it came to that. So potentially that. But like Life is Strange True Colors came out of nowhere for me. Even though I was excited for that game, I didn't expect it to like shake me to my core and became one of my favorite games of all time. Like it's up there with my favorite games. So honestly, I have no idea.
Cool.
And that's exciting.
That is exciting.
That is really exciting. So that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, I feel like I would be mildly disappointed if I got to the end of the year and like nothing had challenged Elden Ring. Like even if Elden Ring turns out to be my game of the year of 2022, like if nothing had even like made me question that by the end of the year, I feel like I would be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Like how it's like how we sat down and reviewed World of Myth, and I said, this is my game of the year right now, and it's going to be hard for anything to top it. And then it was like the next game I played was like, oh yeah, okay, oh this did it.
Yeah. For me, I think mine could be anything from anything. I don't mean it the wrong way, but like for you, I think right now Elden Ring is going to be hard to top. But if anything tops
just like Lady Dimitrescu, am I right?
Hell yeah. If anything can top it, like that's gonna be mind blowing for you.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the conversation you're gonna have with yourself when you're creating that list in January, and you're gonna be like, "Shit, something beat Elden Ring." Fuck.
What's happening? What is reality? Up is down, left is right.
Yes,
Colors look
indeed.
different.
Yeah.
God of War could do it. God of War was my game of the year in 2018. Like,
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Breath of the
Final
Wild,
Fantasy
like
16, if that comes out, like I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy for God's sakes, and if that comes out,
that looks sick. Like that game looks sick.
yeah. Like even though 15, like I tried, and I was just like, nah, I'm not really grabbing with this. Or
Yeah,
anything like that,
this looks like someone said, okay, like took Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 16 looks like if you took Final Fantasy 15, gave it to somebody and said, you see this? Yeah. Make the opposite of this. But still a Final Fantasy game. Like, and I'm not throwing shade at Final Fantasy 15. I really liked Final Fantasy 15. But like what we've seen of 16 so far really does look like someone's decided to make the opposite of 15 while still making a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, we're supposed to hear about Remake Part 2 later this year as well.
Hearing about it, that's fine. I don't mind hearing about it because that ain't coming this year. Like, that's probably maybe next year, if not 2024.
Like I'm now sort of like thinking like how mind blowing like whatever E3 turns out to be is gonna be.
Yeah, that's fair
as well. Like, if we get like I've wanted a Deus Ex. We were just talking about Deus Ex before the podcast started. I fucking love Deus Ex. Like, if we get a perfect arc that like is the spiritual successor to Deus Ex, which it looks like it might be. And I get to see that at E3. Like, dear God.
I can probably tell you what's going to be my most played game at the end of the year.
I mean, yeah.
It's going to be a Pokemon game.
It's going to be Pokemon, and then you'd be like, which one? And I'd be like, that's how I beat the system. There's 3 of them, and you don't know which one it's going to be. I'll tell you what, one of my most played games might be outside of Among Us and Phasmophobia. Like, one of my most played games of the year could legitimately be Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, that DLC's coming soon, isn't it?
Yeah, so the first wave of the DLC drops in like 12 days.
Oh, fuck.
And like, we know a Nintendo person who's going to be playing this a lot.
Yeah, and we're going to be joining the bastard.
Hell yeah, we are.
We're crazy as well.
We play Mario Kart together. We've been playing Splatoon together. We can play Mario Strikers, Switch Sports. But anyway, that sounds to me really. Sounds to me like it's hard for half time. Like, I feel like I just heard a whistle. Yeah.
Did you hear your whistle?
I feel like I heard a whistle. I might need to go and get my
whistle.
I might need to go and get my head checked out, but I'm pretty sure I heard a whistle.
You heard a whistle. Well, if you did hear a whistle, that's fantastic because it's time for half time, ladies and gentlemen. In the game of the week is here. Beer and Breakfast is a laid-back management adventure game where you play as a well-meaning bear trying to run a B&B in the woods. Hank and his friends find an abandoned shack and, equipped with their teenage ingenuity, turn it into a money-making bed and breakfast scheme for unsuspected tourists. As your business expands, so do the mysteries of the forest. And Hank soon finds himself uncovering a plot deeper than the wilderness itself. Moving through a story-rich world of Bear and Breakfast will have you stumbling on dozens of interesting folks and weirdos, much like yourself. Most of them have something to say about your endeavors, and if you take some time out of your day to listen, they might help that's spelt wrong clearly. They might help you build your shack to new heights. Not everyone is as helpful or as needy, though. Are you bare enough to search deep within the forest and your soul to find the mysteries that lie within? Coming to PC via Steam in 2022, developed by Gummy Cat and published by Armor Games Studios. Hit it up on Steam and have a look.
Bear and breakfast. Looks cool. Let's run a bed and breakfast, but you're a bear.
The puns were aloof. No doubt about it. They were aloof.
They do. It does look like a cool old game. Cool alien game. Go check it out on Steam. Links in the description.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So now that we've like completely
broken the internet,
blown our own minds, like just got to take it one day at a time, right? One day at a time. Just got to take it one day at a time. Don't worry. Don't worry about the future. Just worry about now. Should we actually do some news?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Why not?
Why not? I've got to read stuff now. If I was having fun not having to read things out. Guess I gotta go back to the old traditional podcast format. We got some news stories for you. The first one is Xbox boss Phil Spencer asks fans not to weaponize games for battles between platforms. This is from Victoria Kennedy over at Eurogamer. He writes, Xbox boss Phil Spencer has asked that fans respect creators and to celebrate the upcoming releases regardless of platform. See what I did there? Put this right after that massive discussion we just had. Yeah. Floor, right? Spencer was recently awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award at DICE 2022 following his acceptance speech in which he called out the toxic environments in the gaming industry. Spencer chatted to IGN about his greatest accomplishment, his hopes for the next decade, and the social connections that games bring to so many. When asked if he had a message for fans, Spencer was keen to voice his wish players respected creators rather than use games as ammunition in a console war. Quote, I think it's very often that creations can be kind of weaponized and used in battles between platforms and other things. I look at everybody who is brave enough to create something, put it out, have their peers, the industry, players play and analyze and talk about what they do. Let's just celebrate the fact that there are so many great games coming out from so many creators and realize that's such a foundation for where this industry is going to go, end quote.
Very interesting. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like, fans do weaponize games and overreact and go over the top and everything. So what he's saying is he's preaching to the parlor here. There's no doubt about it. And hopefully, like what was it? Like the console wars.
Oh, the console wars. We love the console wars.
Yeah, and everything. So, yeah, there's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, Phil, as much as we love you and as much as you no doubt about it, you're right here and everything. Sadly, social media is around and social media don't listen to no one.
Yeah, it's like he's good. I mean, he's obviously got a point, and I like the idea of putting this news story after the discussion that we just had about, you know, like let's just celebrate the fact that there's so many great games coming out from so many creators. Like, yeah, that's what we just spent like 40 minutes doing. But he's right. Of course he's right. Like, there are so many great games coming out from so many creators. Like you can legitimately now, in a way that I don't think you could do, maybe even 10 years ago, like you could legitimately, anyone can get into gaming because there's something here for everybody, in a way that I don't think there was, even not that long ago. And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree.
And I feel like it's only going to get more. I feel like the crop of games is only going to get more diverse as we go forward. Like, there's going to be stuff here for everybody. Like, for everyone who's playing Elden Ring, and loving it and talking non-stop about it, there are just other games out there for people who don't want to aren't in Elden Ring, right? Like, there's tons of other stuff that's coming out, like we've mentioned, that might appeal to people who aren't gonna pick up Elden Ring. And I feel like 10 years ago, whatever the biggest game of the moment was 10 years ago, that was probably all that was coming out in that sort of period of time for people to play. So it was like, well, if you don't like Mass Effect 3, to use your example from before, kind of shit out of luck right now until the next big thing comes out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, like the diversity that's happening in video games is amazing. Like, some of my favorite games last year. Games I never expected I would be some of my favorite last year. So, like, and I can't wait. Like, we've just read off 50
Yeah.
odd games, which we are all excited to see what's going to happen.
Definitely.
See what's going to be and somehow fit in. Hopefully, half of them to play.
Don't know how, but we'll manage it somehow.
We know about. That's the ones we know about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like, what he's saying, he's preaching it. So hopefully it's
I think
can happen, but we know it won't, because social media, it's a cesspool of shite.
Yeah, the stuff he talks about, he's obviously right about, like, people weaponizing. Like, you see it all the time in arguments between the Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys. Oh, God, War is this. Oh, look, this game. Like, whatever. Like, I have both consoles. I don't really care. But even if you don't, it's just like even if you just have only an Xbox or only a PlayStation, it's just like you're getting fantastic games either way. So just like enjoy the ones that you can play and don't worry about the ones that you can't. I guess
that's too easy.
It's too easy. I mean, the thing you said before about like games that were like your favorite games of last year that you never even saw coming. I mean, there's a perfect example of that happening to me last year, where we were drafting for Fantasy Critic, and Keith drafted this game that I had never heard of called Death's Door. Yeah. And we both looked at each other and went, Death's Door? And then like afterwards we both were like, Death's Door? What's this Death's Door thing? Looked it up and we're like, hey, that looks pretty cool. Maybe we should keep an eye out on it. Game of the year. It was my game of the year. even someone who like pays attention and keeps an eye on like as many games as possible, so I know which ones to get. Even I could get surprised by to that degree, and I love that. It's great.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
You know what's not great, Moody? Activision Blizzard. But you know what is great? Karma. Should we read the next few news stories?
Go for it.
I'm not going to read them all back to back, obviously. Activision Blizzard sued by family of employee who committed suicide. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz, who put a content warning on his article, which says the following article discusses sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and suicide, and then goes on to write, one of the most horrifying details from last year's California Department for Fair Employment and Housing suit against Activision Blizzard is at the heart of a new suit the publisher is facing this week. As reported by the Washington Post, the family of an Activision Blizzard employee who committed suicide during a company retreat has filed a suit against the publisher, claiming that her boss had sexually harassed her and that it was a significant factor leading to her suicide. The suit has also accused the employee's boss of lying to police investigating her death, hiding that he had a sexual relationship with her, and covering up evidence of it. As for the publisher, the family is saying Activision Blizzard wouldn't turn over the employee's company-issued laptop to police, claimed her cell phone had been, quote, wiped, end quote, and refused to provide the boss's computer or phone either. Last year's DFEH suit did not name the employee, but described harassment leading to a woman's suicide, including co-workers passing around an explicit picture of her during a holiday party. At the time, Activision Blizzard criticized the agency in a strident denial, saying, quote, we are sickened by the reprehensible conduct of the DFEH to drag into the complaint the tragic suicide of an employee whose passing has no bearing whatsoever on this case and with no regard for her grieving family, end quote. As for this week's suit, an Activision Blizzard representative told the Post that the company is saddened by the employee's death, but said, quote, we will address the complaint through the legal process as appropriate, and out of respect for the family, we have no further comment at this time, end quote.
I was surprised we haven't heard about this earlier, so like obviously it's just happened now and everything, but this was for me going for me. I would say this. I'm not surprised this is happening whatsoever. This was one of the most deplorable things that came out of the article that we read a few months in June, July when it came out. It was absolutely disgusting, and Karma, it's an absolute bitch, and I hope we can hope they get their just desserts and everything. But even if they do get their just desserts at the end of the day, they will not bring back this person that the family have now lost and everything. And this is just like to try and get some kind of redemption for her, and I hope they're able to try and find some solace in this, and everything. Like losing a family member is one of the most devastating things. I can only imagine what it is of losing a daughter.
Yeah.
So,
Especially like this as well. Like yeah, you basically everything going through my head is just echoes on like what you've just said. Where it's like I hope the family finds justice and finds some closure from this. Like no matter what happens, like to Activision Blizzard or the person
yeah, the
who
employee.
the manager who did this, like it's not gonna bring their family member back. But hopefully some semblance of of my brain just decided to merge two words. Some semblance of justice and closure. I think would be it's a good thing. I don't want to have to sit here in a month and read the news story of Activision Blizzard is fighting back against this lawsuit. Like, just
Oh, they will. It's sadly that's
for once, please, Activision Blizzard, just once, just this one time, please, just act with a little bit of humanity once.
Sadly, they're not going to. Sadly, until Microsoft take control and Phil Spencer gets rid of all the shite, which is still going to take time when he takes over either way. It's nothing's going to change. Sadly, they're proving it with the other articles, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So,
oh God, yes. I mean, yeah, but yeah. This sucks. Like I said, it was one of the more harrowing aspects of what we found out in the past. It's been 9 months.
this is why I get
Wow.
really upset. This is when we obviously we continue to talk about this is why I get upset with other content creators or websites and everything like that who just throw it aside these days and ignore it. And this is someone's daughter who killed herself because she felt she was pushed in she had such a terrible experience that her only way out for herself was to not be here, and that no one should ever have to be forced into that situation. And to think that your company is not helping your employees is a devastating thing and everything. So,
there are people who are working at their company who are actively harassing or abusing someone into a position like that. And like, if anybody out there is listening to this somehow feels like that in any way, it will get better. And there are resources and there are places and there are people you can talk to. I'll link some of it in the description below the podcast. Like you are worthy of being here. No matter what's happening in your life right now. And with that, shall we keep going?
go for it.
Cool. Activision blames Microsoft acquisition for failure to hire another woman to its board. This is from Victoria Kennedy over at Eurogamer. He writes, the state of California says that by law, companies with boards consisting of 6 people or more must have at least 3 women serving on them. Because as we all know, women make up 33% of the population of the world. Activision's board exceeds this number, and yet it failed to introduce a third woman in 2021. Activision has stated that the reason for this failure is due to its planned acquisition by Microsoft complicating matters. Quote, since the company's current directors would cease to continue to serve on our board of directors upon consummation of our proposed transaction with Microsoft, we were unable to conclude the process in 2021, end quote. The company goes on to say, quote, we will be continuing our efforts to appoint a new female director, end quote. However, much more of a complication Microsoft's plans acquisition really added is questionable, as these laws were first put in place in 2019. Sentence was a mess. I apologize.
Oh, Activision. Oh, Activision. You just
Can't help yourself.
You can't really help yourself whatsoever. It's because of our future new owners is that we can't hire a third woman to our directors board. Yes, that's
That's
the
what. That's the
reason.
reason.
That is all the reason. It's the only reason whatsoever. Oh, Activision, you complete bellends. Oh, this is stupid. That's it. My brain has gone. The whole byline itself is just complete. Activision blames Microsoft for acquisition for failing to hire another woman to its board. Like that, the title itself is just ludicrously stupid in itself, and I don't blame Victoria Kennedy from Eurogame whatsoever. This is obviously
This is
what
accurate
they've
reporting.
said. This is accurate reporting and everything like that. But it's just like when you read the title, you just go, "Oh, for God's sakes," type of thing, and you just go, "Come on, man."
Pretty much, I mean, hey, it's what they're going with. Like, they got caught. They got caught doing something. It's like when you get caught doing something, right?
But they put in their hands in the cookie.
And instead of going like, owning up to it and being like, yeah, we fucked up. Like, yeah, I fucked up, right? Like, I did this thing wrong. It's like, what's the first lie that pops into my head that might sound believable? Oh yeah, it's because of Microsoft. Because Microsoft's buying us. Like, what? Okay. The company's current directors would cease to continue to serve on our board of directors once, Microsoft buys us completely. Okay, but that's gonna be like a year from now, and like even longer, because you failed to do this last year. So like 18 months from when you should have hired this person, and there's nothing to say that Microsoft wouldn't offer this person a position within Activision Blizzard once they buy them. They're probably not going to offer any view positions within Activision Blizzard, once the transaction is approved, because from what I can tell of everything I've learned from the last 9 months, you are shit people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a hard target to hit.
It really isn't. It really isn't.
Like 3 out of 9 people, and like I know their board of directors is probably bigger than that. Like, but like the minimum is like 3. So even if you have 100 fucking directors on your board, only 3 of them need to be women. Like, come on, Activision, this isn't hard. But I could see why you might have trouble attracting women to come work at your shithole of a company.
Oh, segue and a half here.
Because as it turns out, that's exactly what's happening. Activision Blizzard says it's facing difficulties attracting and retaining talent. This is from Tom Ivan over at VGC, who writes, Activision Blizzard has said it's having problems attracting new employees and keeping hold of existing ones due to various factors. For audio listeners, I used heavy air quotes in those words. In its annual report via Axios, the Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush publisher cited labor shortages, growing competition for talent, and increasing attrition as factors related to its current recruitment struggles. Activision Blizzard is also currently facing multiple regulatory investigations over its handling of alleged sexual assaults, discrimination, and harassment of female employees. But, that's just one of the reasons. Just one of the factors. It's just
one factor. One factor, indeed.
And in its annual report, the company said its recruitment problems are likely to be exacerbated by ongoing litigation and bad press. Quote, we are experiencing increased difficulty in attracting and retaining skilled personnel. For example, we observed a significantly higher turnover rate of our human resources function in 2021. Additionally, recent litigation involving the company relating to workplace and employee concerns and related media retention can be expected to have an adverse effect on our ability to attract and retain employees and has resulted in work stoppages, end quote. In November, a Wall Street Journal report alleged that Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick was aware of multiple sexual misconduct allegations at the company.
Before poo-poo on all of them here,
yes.
I just want to state, which I did talk about last week, that right now there is a labor shortage when it comes to leads and
there's a labor shortage in everything right now.
Yeah, in everything. So it's understandable if you were a normal company without everything that's happened in the last year. Activision Blizzard, you know why you're finding it hard to attract new employees and keep existing ones. Because you are in the right old dog barrel of everything. It's that like I don't know where I was going with that, but
I don't
whatever.
know. Dog
Yeah,
trash
you're a terrible
spiral. Cool.
Yeah, you're a terrible company who has nothing but alleged sexual assault, discrimination, harassment of female employees. Why would anybody in general, male or female or non-binary, want to freaking come and work at your place?
Yeah, right.
Why?
Like
Why?
if I'm in a game dev and I have a job offer from Activision Blizzard and I have a job offer from literally almost any other literally almost any other game company, I'm going to take almost any other game company. Thanks. Because, you know, it might be bad at that company, but there's a difference between might and is definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is the Activision Blizzard that announced they were going forward, have a zero tolerance policy to sexual abuse and harassment, and then a week later, that when it turned out that Bobby Kotick sexually harassed people, their zero tolerance policy turned out to not be a zero tolerance policy. Why would anybody want to come and work for you? Like, even if they're the biggest fans of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, Call of Duty, like, no. Like, if your dream is to work on Overwatch or Warcraft or Call of Duty or any other game that is owned by Activision Blizzard, like, that's awesome. And I hope one day you get to do that. Why wouldn't you just wait a year? Because Microsoft is going to buy the company and hopefully get rid of a lot of the people who have enabled this abuse and this harassment and change the culture at the company. Hopefully. Again, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but like, there's a better chance of that under Microsoft than there is under the current regime, which did enable all of this and did enable this culture.
Yep.
So yeah, I can definitely see why there are multiple factors why Activision Blizzard is having trouble retaining and hiring staff. Those multiple factors, of course, are all just the multiple lawsuits that you're currently involved in.
Yep.
Like, I mean, you can try and dress it up as employee concerns and the related media attention. Like, it's somehow extraordinary that employees might be concerned and the media might pay attention to the things we've learned about you over the past 9 months.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Ugh. The growing competition for talent. I think what you'll find, Activision Blizzard, is that the growing competition is people taking your talent to other companies. Again, it's like there is a growing competition for talent. There is a labor shortage, but like, these things aren't the reason why Activision Blizzard specifically is having trouble.
Yeah. We know this. Like, the top best selling games last year was Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And even though apparently Call of Duty, even though the last Call of Duty undersold, apparently, but we all knew it did, but it still was the best selling game.
Yeah, of course it was.
Like, come on, man.
But yeah. I like they actually acknowledged that there was a strike in their statement, which I thought was funny. Very, very, you could blink and miss it. Well, you know, it resulted in work stoppages. You mean the time all your QA testers went on a strike because you started sacking them?
Hey, it'll be interesting when later this year. Nothing's going to have changed, so we know this, until Microsoft take over next year, which is not going to happen until summer next year.
At the earliest.
Yeah. So like, they're still. I can see more strikes happening.
I hope so, because they don't seem to be getting the message, and I want them to. I would like all of the very cool, awesome employees of Activision Blizzard to very how do I say this? I was gonna say it, and then I was like, is this like technically inciting violence? I don't mean it in like a violent way. I mean it metaphorically. The word metaphorically will help me here. I hope all of the very cool, very awesome employees at Activision Blizzard, metaphorically, forcefully get the point across to Bobby Kotick's face, metaphorically. This is all a metaphor for just like going on strike and shouting a bunch very forcefully. And if metaphorically Bobby Kotick got hit in the face with a placard, I would metaphorically find that hilarious. Metaphorically.
Metaphorically. Oh.
Someone threw it. I'm just saying, if someone metaphorically threw a metaphorical milkshake at Bobby Kotick's metaphorical, stupid fucking devil face, that would metaphorically be the highlight of my year.
He has got a face that deserves to be metaphorically slapped. No doubt.
Metaphorically covered in milkshake, and maybe as if someone could just metaphorically slash all of his tires on all 27,000 of the different cars that he owns. You know, that would be metaphorically kind of funny too. This is all very metaphorical. I think I've taken a bit as far as I could go. Please do not do violence to Bobby Kotick. That was all a joke. There, now I can't get sued. Should we move on? It's dead. Avoid lawsuits is dead easy. You should try it sometime, Activision Blizzard. Okay, now we can move on. Fucking nailed it. Excuse me. Shall we move on now? I'm really done this time.
You haven't moved on yet?
No, I coughed, but I muted myself just in time. Gran Turismo 7's microtransactions are live, and GT Sports $5 cars now cost $40. This is from Chris Scullion over at VGC. He writes, Gran Turismo 7's microtransactions have gone live on the game's release date, revealing a significant increase in price over its PS4 predecessor. The $70/£70 PlayStation 5 title allows players to top up the credits that they would otherwise earn during the game by purchasing bundles on the PlayStation Store. During the review period, these microtransactions were inaccessible, so it wasn't possible to tell how much credits would cost when the game was released. Now that it's out, however, the full prices for these microtransactions have been revealed. There are 4 packs of credits available on PlayStation Store costing the following amounts each. And just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to read dollars from now on. 100,000 credits will cost you $2.49. 250,000 credits will cost you $4.99. 750,000 credits will cost you $9.99. And 2 million credits will cost you $19.99. Cars in the game range from tens or hundreds of thousands of credits for lower spec vehicles up to many millions of credits for the most high performance ones. Gran Turismo Sport let players buy individual cars as microtransactions. Excuse me. With the vast majority of cars costing between 99 cents and $4.99 each. This is no longer the case in Gran Turismo 7. Now, a Porsche 919 Hybrid 16, which can be bought for $2.99 Gran Turismo Sport, can only be bought for 3 million credits, which would require the player to spend at least $40. There are numerous other examples, including an Aston Martin Vulcan 16, which was $4.99 in GT Sport, costing 3.3 million credits in GT 7, which is $40. A McLaren P1 GTR 16, which cost $4.99 in GT Sport, which now costs $40. Or an Audi R18 TDI 11, which was $2.99 in GT Sport and now will cost $40. A large number of high-spec cars also cost 1 million credits, but there's no option to buy 1 million credits from the PlayStation Store. As such, players running low on credits looking to buy a 1 million credit car will have to buy a 750,000 and 250,000 credits for a total cost of $15 or 2 million credits for $20. As in previous Gran Turismo games, every car also has a host of upgrade parts, all of which cost credits too. A previous state of play video showing the game in action showed some legendary cars costing up to 20 million credits. It's not clear if car values have been changed since then. VGC hasn't seen any cars at that price in the game, but the legendary car showroom does rotate on a regular basis, so they may appear at some point. If they do, such a car would cost $200 in real money. I'm going to be honest. I clicked this link on this news story out of just interest, right? I was like, how bad could it possibly be, right? Because
those are your infamous words every time you open up a flipping article.
How bad could this possibly be? Like, unfortunately, we had this argument.
How bad could this Activision thing be?
I knew how bad this Activision thing could be the second I read the headline. No, it's like, okay, the cars cost more in GT7 than they do in GT Sport. I mean, that to me, in my brain, just makes sense. Unfortunately, we had the argument about microtransactions many, many years ago, and those of us on the side who said this will get out of control at some point lost the argument, and now we just have to sit in it with the rest of you. But I was just like, okay, how much more expensive could they possibly be? And then I was reading the article, and it just gets worse the further down you go. Or it's just like, oh,
yeah. Pretty much. This game is like $70 to buy.
Well, £70, which is like $92.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty. It's not pretty. It's shite. It's terrible. It's not good at all whatsoever. If you want to like get one of those 3 cars you read off, that's basically an indie game or AA game price now. That
was almost Elden Ring.
Yeah.
That was almost how much we spent on Elden Ring.
Yeah. That's how much I've spent on Pokemon Legends Arceus.
There it is. Do you want one car in Gran Turismo 7 or an entire Pokemon game? Like, even if you don't like Pokemon, you've got to say you can't really argue which one is a better value proposition.
Yeah. Volcom, you can't. The Housemarque, you can't fucking drive in real life. So at least these Pokemon, you can freaking do stuff.
Yeah, man, game. Yeah,
but yeah. This is what you said. Like at the beginning, is pretty spot on. Like we've had the argument about microtransactions and all this, and sadly, at the end of the day, microtransactions have won because, like, if you see the estimates when it comes to the annual reports from businesses and the developer publishers and all like that, like Activision Blizzard or Ubisoft and everything like that in a year, the biggest amount they get is from the microtransactions. It's
but yet they keep talking about how games are too expensive to develop and they've got to keep raising the price of the microtransactions.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't have been bothered if like we all knew it had microtransactions either way.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't have been nothing to talk about if it was just the normal prices and everything like that. Or heck, if it went up like the highest I would say was like $10, up to $10. But it isn't. It's an entire game itself for one price. For one car is basically a price of one game.
Yeah,
and that's deplorable. For me, I'll say this right now: $10. I still think that's even high. At the end of the day, I think really it shouldn't go any higher than $5. Really, personally, in general and whatnot. But yeah, it's it's shit. Just be careful out there, everybody. Just like seriously, this is a lot of money, and if you don't know what you're paying for and everything like that, just be flipping careful.
I remember I just looked it up. I remember the first thing I ever bought, the first like DLC microtransaction thing that I ever bought wasn't horse armor, thankfully. It was the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC for Mass Effect 2. Do you want to know how much the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC cost at the time it came out in dollars? Because I just looked it up. I just looked it up.
15.
It cost $9.99.
Sweet.
And I got Lair of the Shadow Broker.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I got Lair of the Shadow Broker for $9.99, or like whatever the UK equivalent was at the time. That's like 2-3 hours worth of fucking amazing Mass Effect 2 content. And now let's fast forward to 2022. I can get 750,000 credits for that price. And if I was playing Gran Turismo 7, what will 750,000 credits get me? Well, none of these top tier cars. Like, not one of them. I can't afford. Like, even if I bought the maximum amount of credits I could at once, which is 2 million, you can't afford any of these cars. You have to buy another 2 million credits pack and then have change left over. Because microtransaction economies are stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're genius, like, for making money for the company that put them together. Like, but like, yeah, it's like, oh, let's make it so that, you know, you have to have credits left over. So then you're tempted to use those credits, but you can't use those credits on anything else. So yeah, you have to top up your wallet with more credits.
Yeah.
It's genius and how insidious it is.
Oh, yes. No doubt about that.
Like, if a 20 million credit car like does pop up on the store, like a $200 car, like, oh God. There's a certain point where I just feel like you can't use the word micro in microtransactions. They're not micro anymore. This takes me back to years and years ago when we had a good old laugh at EVE Online where they were selling that monocle for like, I can't remember how much it was, like 60 quid or something? 40 quid? I can't remember. It was just a monocle you could wear. Like,
yeah.
You couldn't even get the full set of glasses for that amount of money.
So.
And we had a good laugh about that. That was really dumb. It was funnier because Russ was on the podcast and he loved EVE Online. That's what made it really funny. Because you know, we're terrible people. Shall we move on?
No wonder he doesn't play Among Us with us anymore.
No wonder he doesn't play Among Us. He doesn't come on the podcast. I just want to throw out, we play D&D together. We do still talk to each other.
He takes two of our friends who we want to play Among Us with, and he
I know, right?
them with little toys.
I know, right?
Which I can't say much.
Little toys. I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing here.
You don't see that. You don't see that.
I've got enough body. I haven't got enough body mass to cover all of mine.
I have. There we go. Just gotta position it there.
I was trying, but like then I realized there was a bee on the other side of the room.
Oh, the bee! Don't worry about the bee. It's just the left, your right side.
I just slowly like. So I was if I just do the podcast, there's holes in my chair.
Put your head back.
I can't. I need to get. Hang on.
There you go.
So just do the podcast. Hold on. Just do the podcast from here. What's up? Yeah, this is totally normal.
What's up?
This is how the podcast is from now on. I'm just gonna sit like this. It's super comfortable, everybody.
Oh.
How we doing?
How we doing? Indeed.
I'm proud of my cool collection of cool stuff.
So am I.
But anyway, let's move on. We have serious things to talk about.
We have serious things.
That was not a good segue after that amazing segue I did earlier. Yeah, so we talked about the Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, and the absolutely horrific situation that's currently going on in Ukraine last week on the podcast. I don't really want to rehash anything that we talked about last week. I want to just say, you know, the situation is fucking terrible. My heart goes out to everybody currently suffering in Ukraine, and we put resource links in the description of the podcast last week. Those resource links will be in the description of the podcast this week as well, and probably for a while going forward. We have basically, I've taken all of the game company responses to what's going on in Ukraine over the past 7 days, and I just kind of put them in like a bullet point list, just so we could go through them and then talk a little bit about them. There was a lot, as it turns out. It took a while, longer than I thought it was going to. And if I might have missed some, and if I have, I apologize for that. But here are all of the responses to the game from games companies to what's going on in Ukraine. So we've got Epic Games has suspended sales in Russia, but has kept its communication tools online. Activision Blizzard has suspended all sales in Russia. The Nintendo eShop payment processing has been suspended in Russia. EA has pulled all games and virtual currency bundles from Russia and Belarus. Microsoft has suspended all new sales of products and services in Russia. PlayStation has pulled Gran Turismo 7 from sale in Russia, or stopped the sale of Gran Turismo 7 from Russia. The wording was a bit vague. Bloober Team pulled their games from sale in both Russia and Belarus. CD Projekt Red has blocked all purchases via GOG in Russia and Belarus. EA is also removing Russian teams from FIFA and NHL games. I believe those are the upcoming games. Again,
Probably,
yeah. Development of Stalker 2 is on hold at the Ukrainian-based developer GSC Game World, and they've also asked for fans to donate to the Ukraine military. John Romero designed a new level for Doom 2, the proceeds of which will go to the Red Cross and the UN Central Emergency Response Fund. You can get that for €5, I believe, is the cost of it. And Ubisoft is providing additional funds, advanced salaries, and alternative housing to staff in Ukraine, because they have an office in Ukraine, don't they?
I did not know that.
I think they do. They must do, because they've got employees who work in Ukraine.
Yeah.
There's been a few donations that have come from game companies. The Pokemon Company donated $200,000 to Global Giving. Fat Shark, developer of Warhammer Vermintide 2, which is a really good game, donated 300,000 SEK to the Red Cross. Supercell, the Clash of Clans developer, donated $1 million and will match up to $1 million donated by players. 11-Bit Studios raised £520,000 for the Ukrainian Red Cross from the sales of This War Is Mine. We talked about that last year, that they were donating all of the profits from the game sales. Last week. We talked about it last week. How does time work? Unity is donating $623,000 to Ukrainian support, and the Embracer Group, owners of THQ and Gearbox, among others, is donating $1 million to Ukraine aid, and their CEO is donating a further $1 million. That's it. No. If I missed anything, sorry, that was a lot. I did the best I could to try and dig through and find everything.
Let's just hope this resolves soon.
I hope so. Like, I get the point of, like, all of these companies, like, coming out and doing this. I really do. But, like, there is a point to be made that, like PayPal suspended its services in Russia. And it's like, I mean, that's not... like, the government in Russia probably doesn't use PayPal. But, like, all of the Twitch streamers... who like full-time Twitch streamers have just lost their income. Like, and I get the point. The point is to create civil unrest, to like cripple the country, which is fair because they are invading another country. But it's geopolitics is such a complicated situation. And fuck Russia for doing this, like the country, not the people who live there.
Basically the heads of state. Basically.
Yeah, basically the people who decided that this was the thing that they were going to do,
which is just one person.
yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
Conference or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it's my heart goes out to everyone who's been affected by this, and hopefully it is resolved as soon as possible. Cross fingers it will.
Yeah.
And like well done to all these companies like doing all this. It's like some of them are like some of the ones we've crapped on before. But maybe they can like I'll take my cap off to you for that as well and everything like that. But hopefully it gets sorted and everything.
Yeah, literally.
Next week happens. We'll see what happens next week.
Like literally, I like stand up and applaud any company that's doing anything like tangible to like support people in Ukraine. Regardless of my own personal feelings about some of the companies that we've just talked about, like a company doing the right thing is a company doing the right thing. Transcends like fighting with them about other stuff, even though the other stuff still sucks. But
I agree.
Good job, everybody. Let's keep it going. Should we do some tidbits? Some little tidbits.
Go on.
So here's one. The Tokyo Game Show 2022 will be a live in-person event and will run between September 15th and 18th. And go to Google right now, everybody listening and watching this podcast. Go Google right now and Google Tokyo Game Show 2022 theme tune. You can thank me later. It's wild. They have a theme tune. They have a theme song. Yeah. Wow. Sifu has sold over 1 million copies.
Congrats.
Hell yeah.
Like, congrats. Even though I think the game's been completely forgotten about.
I think every game's been completely forgotten about, unfortunately.
The only one that's still getting mentions that I can still see just because it's the PlayStation game is Horizon. Everything else is getting forgotten about.
Oh, yeah. Housemarque is working on a new IP, which probably won't be a live service game.
Freaking hope not. Jesus, yeah. That's not like, I'm surprised that's even been mentioned there. Like,
it was the person they were interviewing who actually brought it up. Because PlayStation, remember, they're going to release 10 live service games before 2020 something. And
my brain completely forgot about that.
The Housemarque person who was talking about it said we're not looking at live service because they did a live service game before Returnal, and it didn't go so well, so they're kind of going.
No, they were going to, weren't they? And then
no, it was Storm Divers. It was, I don't know if it was in beta or something, but there was a game out that you could play.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a battle royale, I think. Paradise Killer is coming to Xbox and PlayStation, and it's adding new content. Go play Paradise Killer. Underrated. I made a list. A few days ago, just because I was bored, of like videos. You know how I do retrospective videos. I can't play Elden Ring all the time. My thumbs need to rest. But yeah, I was making a bit of video retrospective videos I want to do, I have a massive list of dozens upon dozens of games that I want to do videos of eventually, but these are the ones where I was these are the ones I could do right now if I started right now, because I have ideas and things to say and thoughts about them, and Paradise Killer is on that list. So
sweet.
Go check it out when it comes out on console.
Don't hate me, but never heard of the game.
No, it was in my list. When did it come out? I think it was 2020. It came out. It was on my Game of the Year list somewhere in there. I think it was 2020. I don't think we were doing a podcast about Game of the Year at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't full time then, was I?
No, I was going to say I don't think you were actually the one co-host, the glorious one, Hot Tuna, the 3-star champ.
Oh, bloody hell.
I think that was all the nicknames I've ever come up for you.
I think so, yeah.
On the podcast, if we expanded this to Among Us streams, I could think of a few more.
You twat!
You motherfucker! Gotham Knights briefly appeared on Steam DB and then disappeared. So I guess we're gonna get a Gotham Knights beta at some point.
I have no interest in it a bit or whatsoever. I'll just wait until the game comes out.
Under normal circumstances, yeah, sure, I would just skip a beta for a game like Gotham Knights. But I'm on the fence about Gotham Knights, about whether I'm going to play it or not. Partially because partially think about the first half of this podcast. If I can play a beta for Gotham Knights and figure out that it's not for me before the full game comes out, that's great, because I just reclaimed a bunch of time to put into something else. That's where I'm coming from, where I'm beta. Good call.
You think you'll be finished Elden Ring by then?
I don't think I'll be finished Elden Ring by January. The rate
you've already played 40 hours of the bugger. Come on, let's just do a review of it.
No, I'm finishing it.
So January, yeah?
Yeah. That's it. I'm an Elden Ring person now. That's all I do. You know how you have people who just play one game? I'm not that person. I'm not a variety streamer anymore. I play Elden Ring.
Cool. I will variety it up with Pokemon.
With Pokemon.
Damn.
Where variety streamers,
But they're different versions.
with variety streamers, what do you mean you variety streamers? We play 2 games.
I do not.
Play 4 because we play
There's
Among Us
2
and Faz
versions
too.
there's 2 versions.
Anarchius, that's 3.
Yeah. There's Sword and Shield. That's 2 games. There's Violet and Scarlet. That's 2 games. There's Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. That's 2 games.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Back for Blood has passed the 10 million player mark. Game Pass probably helped with that. And I played it and enjoyed what I played of it. So like, I'm not knocking the game in any way.
Game was for me, but I'll never bash
always.
on it saying.
What is it? What is it?
It.
Yeah, what is it? Phil Spencer said, just like we should all be in awe of like people creating things and putting it out there.
Yeah, like it didn't work for me. I won't lie, I did have a fun part with it. I won't lie that, but game just wasn't for me. But I'm so happy to hear it's got its audience and to hear it's got a 10 million player mark.
Yeah,
count.
In the future,
Really
in the future, when we have like tons of emote slots on Twitch, one of the emotes will definitely be Moody with an axe.
Oh my god,
that was iconic. Other side, the development studio led by Warren Spector, who's a creator of Deus Ex and System Shock, is starting work on a new IP. This was put in there for me. I'm very excited. I literally did say...
Can't ask much more.
Yeah, I literally did say like an hour and a bit ago, like Deus Ex was one of my favorite games. And guess what? You know that list I just mentioned of 15 videos I want to make? Deus Ex is on the list too, baby. Babylon's Fall had less than 650 concurrent players on Steam at release. Reminder, Babylon's Fall is a co-op game that you play with other people. And its current OpenCritic, which I showed Mooney last night, and I'm just double checking it now, but my Chromebook is deciding to load really slowly,
35,
so I'm really having to push this sentence out there. It's actually 40. It's actually 40.
Oh, it went up a little bit.
It went up, yeah. Holy moly.
Like when I saw this, when you showed me this, I was like, didn't someone pick it in Fantasy Critic? And I had to have a look. I had to look. I was thinking, oh god, I bet it was Russell.
It was Russ. Russ has a Fantasy Critic.
Russell O'Keefe.
No.
Imagine it was one of them. Jason, imagine if someone did pick it and someone counterpicked it. Oh my god!
I would go so far as to say as whoever counterpicked it is probably winning Fantasy Critic.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points for a counterpick.
Who's leading with 0 games out yet?
It's Joe Medford with a plus 35 on his counterpick.
Wait, what?
That's more points than Elden Ring.
Yeah, fuck you, Elden Ring. It's about those counterpoints. But no, yeah, damn man, like this.
Wowzers
indeed.
Wowzers. It always sucks to like see a game this happen to a game. But they'll bounce back. They'll make something else. It'll be amazing. It's what Platinum games do. They'll make a game and it's not great. And then they'll make another game and it's Bayonetta 3. So that's the next game.
That's where all their heart is in right now, is Bayonetta. Nothing else, it's literally all Bayonetta.
They'll make a bad Legend of Korra game and then they'll turn around and they'll make fucking Astral Chain. And it's like, yeah, okay. This is just what it's like to be a fan of Platinum games. Like, at least they're doing what they love. Last tidbit, a streamer is playing Elden Ring with a Ring Fit controller.
Of course there is.
This is pretty cool. And a good way to exercise. No, so like they've got the whole thing set up, right? I watched some of it. So they got the whole thing set up where the thing on their leg starting to move. They gotta move. They gotta keep their legs moving. And then like move themselves left and right and stuff. It's really fascinating. Like there's someone else I saw playing Elden Ring with their feet. Like and I was like, that's old hat. Like that's been done. Like people have been doing those kind of runs. Like someone beat Dark Souls with those Donkey Kong bongos that came with that Donkey Kong game. Like someone doing it with Ring Fit though. Yeah, no, I'm interested. That's a new one on me. I'm just kidding. The person doing it with their feet is like, what? I can barely do it with my fucking hands. Oh, should we do games out this week?
Go for it.
Games out this week. Ooh, there's a few, but not too many. March 10th, we've got Young Souls coming on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Young Souls is a gorgeous 2D brawler, means story-rich action RPG, fight hordes of belligerent goblins, level up with hundreds of weapons and accessories, explore and journey between worlds as rebellious twins battle their way to save their foster father. We've also got Aztec Forgotten Gods on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Aztec Forgotten Gods, the Cyberstone universe action adventure game that follows Actli, I think, a young Aztec woman in her quest to become a hero by wielding the power of the gods. Also, on March 10th, we've got Chocobo GP for Switch. Start your engines and get set for a new racing experience featuring a roster of dozens of your favorite Chocobo characters, complete with their own unique abilities and variants. Equip Magicites and take out the competition as you drift through various familiar courses in online and offline multiplayer modes. We've also got Submerged Hidden Depth for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Boat, climb, interact, and explore in the beautiful ruins of a sunken world. And we've also got No Place Like Home for PC. Humanity trashed the Earth and left for Mars. Well, half of that's probably true. Going to be true. Only a few remained. Explore the world, clean the environment, craft with recycled resources, domesticate animals, rebuild your village, restore the environment, and run your own post-apo farm, as there's no place like home. And then finally, on March 11th, we've got WWE 2K22 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Redesigned engine, new controls, all the features you can handle. Get ripped out of the stands and hit with complete control of the WWE Universe. Hitting this hard has never been so easy. WWE 2K22. It hits different.
You want to know how much it hits different?
Go on.
Half its roster is no longer employed by WWE.
Wow, that's really different. I like the fact that they're really pushing like how different this game is, because I remember 2K21. Or 20, whichever one the last one was. Even I remember that game.
I tried it, and
I didn't need to.
Oh my god!
I just got a laugh along. Along with the with all of the videos and clips that were being posted on Twitter. it has a lower OpenCritic average than Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, 39 of the same.
Yeah, because that is going to be relevant. Right now, it's time for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game myself and Moody play every single week, where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Triangle Strategy. I guessed it would get an 89. Moody guessed it would get an 85. And at the time of recording, Triangle Strategy has an OpenCritic average of 82, which gives Moody the point and leaves the current scores at Amy 4, Moody 3. I just changed it. Yeah, I got stung for being optimistic. What can I say? I hadn't played the demo at that point as well, but I'll go down.
Didn't you say you enjoyed the demo?
I love the demo. Yeah,
yeah,
love the demo. I can't wait to continue it. It's a very slow burn game. Like this, you get the 3 chapters. It took me about 3.5 hours, right? And there was only like 3 bits of combat in it. Okay. There's like 3 battles up until that point, but it's got very engrossed. Like, I like the characters. You get like 7 characters by that point.
Yeah.
So you get a lot quite quickly. It's like one of those like intriguing stories that's building up to something, and I like it. It's a very nice pace. Like, a lot of games are really fast paced and trying to like fucking hit you like with everything all right out of the gate. And Triangle Strategy is just like let's just chill. Let's just breathe. Let's just be calm. This week, Chaos. We're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of WWE 2K22. There are so many directions this could go in.
I'm going for it, Amy.
I think this is going to be the biggest gap we've ever had between guesses.
Yeah, I agree. Amy?
Yeah?
60.
Ooh, 60. Maybe it's not then.
Oh, fuck off, man. Seriously?
Well,
Yeah, I'm going to say 69. I know you.
yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm not even gonna build up to it. Yep, that's what I was gonna do the entire time. I was gonna say 70, and then I just went, 70 is such a round number. Who likes round numbers? Not me.
I don't care if I get this or not. I really don't. I
Like,
am
where could it go? Like, you like, who knows? It could be another in the toilet, Amy's laughing at clips on Twitter situation, or it could be that they've made a new engine and they've taken their time this time and they've actually fixed it. Who knows? This is one of those few. You always go into an OpenCritic, right? Going, who knows where this game is going to land, right? Like that's just true of any game. But like with WWE 2K22, I really feel like the full range of scores is available. Like this could be a 30, or it could be an 80, or anything in between.
True.
So 69 seemed like a why the fuck not? If I was ever gonna roll dice again to decide what my OpenCritic guess would be, it would be for this game, because who even knows? Who even knows? Do you want to do a quick fantasy critic check?
Go for it.
Cool. We've been playing Fantasy Critic all year. You can look at past podcasts to see the progression of it. I don't want to keep saying the same thing plus a bit more every time, because otherwise it's just going to get exponentially longer. So I'll go through the standings. At last place with no games released yet is Nintendo only with that's Joe Medforce, twitch.tv/Joe Medforce. Hasn't any games come out yet, so hard to really judge him. In fifth place is Can't Do Any Worse Than Last Time, proving that you can.
Though, it's funny, like what you say about Joe. Like he's got 3 games coming up, pretty close together,
back
soon,
to back,
so,
pretty much. Yeah. So he'll be all right. Can't Do Any Worse Than Last Time. Can't Do Any Worse Than Last Time with Loxdale has 8 points. Return of the Smeghead brackets champ is here. Daffin Mooney is in 4th place with 26 points. Rocketing all the way up into 3rd place off of the back of 1 game is Queen of the Indie Games, Elf Daughter, who's now on 32 points thanks to Elden Ring coming out. Into second place, dropping into 2nd place is Numbing Inevitability, which was Keith on 37 points, and in 1st place with 50 points is 88 is Great Actually, which is me. Finally, I'm back on top where I belong. It's time. I told you I was coming out and actually taking this seriously this year.
Yes, you did. Then I'm not worried whatsoever still. So.
Oh, no, I mean, you shouldn't be. You've had one less game released than me, so I'd say you're about where you should be with one game, with one fewer game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're the only one. I'm looking at everybody else, their points totals, the games that they currently have in their teams, and discarding the points that everybody currently has, and the only person I'm currently worried about is you. Currently, that could change. Everybody's got lots of spaces left to fill on their teams, but the only person I'm currently worried about is you coming up behind me. But it's fine because I got loads more games coming out. Yeah. By the end of March, I got 2 more games coming out. I got Tunic and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Keith has 3 games.
There's no doubt about it. You're gonna have a nice gap.
Yeah.
I expect those to be at least in the 80s, so at least there's 20 points for you to get to 70 minimum.
Definitely.
For me, so yeah, you've got games coming. I have nothing right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I built a strategy around having lots of games that had release dates that freed me to take a couple of points on things like The Last of Us remake, knowing that it's cool because I got all these games that are coming out in the first 3 months. Build a nice foundation, Keith has 3 games coming out by the end of March: Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Weird West. He could retake the lead with those 3 games by volume alone. Nintendo only has a game, their first game coming out in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Joe's going to have an opportunity to get some points on the board, jump up in a 5th place.
And then he has 2 coming back to back: Lego Star Wars,
Yeah.
Skywalker Saga, and Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp.
And then Elfie has got Nintendo Switch Sports. Like, there's a big gap from there to like the next game, where nothing's really going to happen. Elden Ring was the big one. Elfie got 32 points for Elden Ring. She went from 0 to 32. Like, instantly. You got 12 points for Triangle Strategy. I'm in that consistency zone at the moment. Like, I've gotten 18 points for Gran Turismo, 17 for Total War, and 15 for Ollie Ollie World. I'm in that nice groove of just like getting those solid scores in.
I won't lie, like, I was a bit tempted to maybe counterpick Neo White. I know what you're saying and everything like that, but I was just like, I don't think that.
Oh yeah, like, to be fair, well, go for it. You know what, Mooney? Do it.
There was the other one I was thinking was
I dare you.
Where is it? Who took that one?
No, take Neon White. Do it.
I don't want to.
Do it. Mutually Assured Destruction. I have Final Fantasy 16, and every day that passes, I get more and more nervous about that. I'm like, what if this game comes out? It's gonna fucking destroy me.
Oh no!
What have I done? Can you drop counterpicks? Is that a thing?
Ow! What if Bayonetta comes out? Freaking that's Keith.
That's Keith. That's not me. I wasn't that daft.
Like, I was so happy that I got to pick the counterpicks first, and I was thinking, I'm going straight for that Mario Kart because that ain't coming out this year.
Oh yeah,
I'm saving myself.
I gave you a freebie there, like.
You did, like, yeah.
I'm in that mode where I'm thinking more about what am I going to counterpick second. Like, what's my other counterpick going to be than necessarily what games am I after at this point? Where I'm looking at people's lists and I've got targets, right?
Yeah.
I've got like 3 or 4 I'm looking at going. Yeah, maybe that. I'll throw it right out there right now, maybe none of them are on your list. None of them are in your team.
The only one that is far distant, and that all depends on E3, Nintendo E3, and that is if Nintendo E3 and they do not show Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
That's so scary, though. Like, can you imagine counterpicking that and then it comes out?
Oh, God, yes.
You'd be ruined.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Like, because I look at that and I go,
points I get for Final Fantasy 16, they've just gone been obliterated.
I'm looking, because I look at it and I go, yeah, I mean, like, it might not come out this year, like, because the thing is, you've got to do it before they announce a delay. Like, once they announce a delay, you can't do a counter pick on it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Speaking of rules, so, like, we've had a few pickups. I picked up Neon White, like you said. Elfie picked up Mario Strikers Battling and Nintendo Switch Sports. Russ picked up Salt and Sacrifice. Keith hasn't picked anything up.
But I haven't picked anything up.
You haven't picked anything up. I want to talk about last week's bids. And for anyone listening, the person listening who's going to message Russ and say, Amy's got a message for you that I mentioned earlier. This is the message for us. So last week we had 2 bids for games. They were both from Russ. As I went into the league history to find out. One of them he bid on the game I just said. Another game he bid on was Chocobo GP. Now, fair enough, it doesn't come out all this week, and the bids get processed on the Saturday. But when he bid on it, there's reviews out. There's been reviews out for a while. I've been reading the discourse around Chocobo GP. So we put a $1 bid on Chocobo GP, and there's reviews out. It's got a review score on OpenCritic of 70. Like, he put a $1 bid on getting 0 points. None.
He wants to finish last.
He's like, God damn it, I need to somehow get behind Joe. That counter pick of Shadow Warrior didn't work. It worked briefly, and then all the rest of the reviews came out.
Yeah, it did, yeah. Yeah, I know. I know that I saw the discourse in our Discord chat, and I was just thinking. And then I looked, I was thinking, everyone's talking about it. And then I looked, I was thinking, guys, it's got 70 fucking.
Yeah, so
It was at
on
85 or something, wasn't it?
it was at 87 on when I looked on Fantasy Critic, and I went, really? Wow, I never would have seen that coming. And then I actually went on OpenCritic, and it was already down to like 70 something, and I was like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, there was a brief moment in time where Russ was on like minuses again, like overall points total, and it was like, oh, bless. But yeah, he tried to put a bid in for Chocobo GP, and it was like, it's going to score 0 points, but it's not going to go through, but it's also going to score 0 points. Yeah, I'm just waiting for your games to start coming out. Like, you're the one I'm fighting. Like, even if we're not fighting for first place, Mooney, I already said I declared it in our draft. I don't give a shit if me and you are fighting for 5th place. I'm gonna fight you and only you. I'm gonna beat you. Fuck everybody else. But it's good. It's going well. Got a nice groove going. Long may the 80+ games continue. That's it.
As indeed.
That's going to do it for episode 295 of the Words About Games podcast. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been watching, thank you very much. Did I say the wrong number?
I don't know.
You just raised your eyebrow, and I was like, oh, what did I say?
I raised my eyebrow at something else.
Oh, okay. I was like, what did I say? Shit. What number did I say?
What did I say?
I don't even remember. I only said it 20 seconds ago. I'll try again. That's going to do it for episode 295 of the Words About Games podcast. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been watching, thank you very much for listening. If you've been listening, thank you very much for joining me, Moody. It's been a pleasure, as always.
As always, Amy.
And I think that's going to do it.
It is
Say bye, Moody.
Bye, Moody.